What's up, y'all? Welcome back. This is Taylor Knight, and you guys are watching Resistance is Futile. This is my channel where I share my womanhood stories, my faith stories, in hopes to build a community to bring us together so that we can get really real about the things in our lives that are affecting us. In the words of a really famous rapper, if you know, you know. You cannot run from the pain. You've got to run towards it. So let me paint you guys the perfect picture. You're dating someone. You go on date 1. You think it's good. You could see yourself going on another date, and then boom, second date happens, even better than the first one. Then we get to the third date and we realize, oh, we really like this person. In between those dates, we're having conversations, phone calls that last for hours, and we're talking about the deep things, if you're into that. Not being surface, getting to the nitty gritty, talking about the things that you want in life, what you seek, what you desire. And it just feels like everything is aligning with this person. It feels like everything is making sense. Is it what you prayed for? You're so excited, you feel really good, but then you notice just one thing, and the one thing is so minute, but you know what? You cannot get this one thing out of your head, and you fixate on it and you harp on it, and you turn the molehill into a mountain. It really is not even all that devastating. Then you find yourself pulling away because of this one little minute thing. Why? What are you doing? And what is that about? You, my friend, have got a case of what I call the dating defenses. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You are self-sabotaging. There I say it. You are getting in your own way. You are becoming the problem in your own life. You are becoming the problem in your own solutions, potential solutions. It's you. Can't blame it on anybody else. It is you. This is where I am. I'm in dating defenses. So why do we self-sabotage? Why do I self-sabotage? You guys know that I can only speak for myself. I am not a professional. I am not a mental health professional, but I am a mental health advocate. And I like to be brutally honest with myself so that you guys can be brutally honest with yourselves. I self-sabotage because A, I have a hard time living in the moment, and B, I have been terrified of being hurt once again, like my past. You know what's crazy? I saw this meme on Instagram, and it was like, watch how picky you get after you heal. Watch how selective you become after you've gone through a period or many periods of what felt like failures. And then you finally take the time out to sit with yourself and heal yourself. Watch how you watch everything in the suitors to come. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to keep your eyes open. I have prayed for eyes to see and ears to hear. Relevant, but I have become so picky, so almost dangerous to myself out of fear. On one of my recent episodes, I talk about anxious attachment, and I realize that this self-sabotage stems from that anxious attachment style that I have, that I'm working out of. Now, I feel myself really recognizing the problems and being able to get past them quickly, more quickly than I was before, because I was not self-aware. But now that I'm self-aware, I could see where what I used to do is showing up now, and I can make a different choice. But I have become, in a good way, very picky, but in a bad way, almost, bad is not the right word, but in not the most effective way, overly critical and not being in the moment. One thing I thought about when I was writing out what I would talk about on here is like something that I remember my mom used to say, and you guys know my mom kicks a lot of wisdom if I'm usually telling y'all the wisdom she's kicking to me. And she would be like, you got to be prepared for what you pray for. Because if you are in a situation where you've prayed for something diligently, you've asked for God to hear your prayers, and then you also believe that God would do a thing, you need to actually believe that He will do the thing. Because guess what? All of a sudden, doors might open. All of a sudden, His palm, His hand will open to you, and you have got to be prepared for it. You cannot be afraid and then self-sabotage the situation, the very thing that you have asked for. You got to be ready. You have got to be ready. I am not telling anyone to dismiss signs of red flags, even orange flags, even yellow flags. I'm not telling anybody to do that. But what I am saying is that when you know you've prayed for something specifically and it shows up and it looks like that specific thing is showing up in your life, do not try to find a reason to deteriorate that thing. I have been there. I have been there. I am there. If you want to be real about it. So like, get out of your way. Get out of your way. Thanks. My sister-in-law posted something about self-sabotage. And she was like, I was like, why are you screaming at me? I DM'd her. I was like, why are you screaming at me with this post? And she goes, baby girl, I am over here being Picasso. And I'm like, honey, if you Picasso, I'm Basquiat, because I'm over here drawing up conclusions and the math ain't mathing. And the art is creatively artistic, but it's irrelevant. Okay? So let's stop. And this, I feel like, this self-sabotage, I feel like goes hand in hand with my type A personality who feels like I need to be in control all the time. You know what's crazy? It goes back to you got to be prepared for what you ask for. Because I prayed about a man who could lead, right? I prayed about a man who could lead. And that's the kind of partner I want, someone who can come in and have his own ideas and we can share ideas and do things together. But ultimately, he has a vision for his family. I had posted also something about this on my story. And that's so crazy because my type A personality is so not used to allowing someone to lead. And it shows up, and it showed up in my relationship with God. Actually, I had to learn the lesson first through God. I had to learn to let God lead before I could allow a man to enter my life and lead me in this physical world. I had to be able to say, God, I surrender to your will and to your way. And I can't even see what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even fathom what he's doing, at least with the earthen. At least with the person in front of me, with the partner that I wish for and pray for. You know, I could see, we could talk, we could discuss. With God, it's complete faith. And so me learning to have that complete faith in God is something that will allow me to transition and to be able to have a partner in my life who can also lead me. But you got to be ready once again, because it's going to show up in your life, and you're going to have to learn. If you are anything like me, you're going to have to learn to take a back seat, to live in the moment, to be happy in the happiness, to get excited about the happiness, to feel good about the good things that are happening to you. Because I remember feeling like every situation I wouldn't get excited for, I would sort of contain or suppress my excitement about meeting someone new. And a part of that is wise, right? A part of that is like keeping things to yourself so that, you know, you can allow things to just naturally manifest. But a part of that is like unfair to yourself. It's unfair to not be able to feel completely what you're feeling when you're feeling it. That is not living in the moment. That is constantly living in fear of what the future might be. Which brings me to my second point. The second reason why I self-sabotage and have self-sabotaged in the past is because of fear, terror. And then I thought to myself, like, I had to ask myself, have I healed? Have I healed from the past traumas before me? And then I have to remember that God delivered me. When I turned over my life, when I said to God, I'm making a new commitment, a new relationship, a new contract with you, oh Lord, when I said that to him, he delivered me from those sorrows. He separated me divinely so that I could be in a place of knowing and seeing and being able to understand and being able to hear him clearly when he puts things in my presence, either through test or through like substantial, supposed to be here, like for a reason. So I have to remember that God delivered me. It's a constant in my life. And I know that it's not easy. And that's why it always comes up in my videos, because there is, on a day-to-day, you have to make the choice to surrender. Those were my words for 2023. And it's so crazy because in church, Pastor Powell, his word was about picking up the pace. And it is not a season to be spiritually lazy, right? And my goal for myself this year was to focus on me and to surrender completely to God. And I got to pick up the pace. Now is not the time. When we're in Q4, when we're looking at September, October, November, December, now is the time to finish strong. I am not trying to say, oh, I got through 3/4 of the year really being committed, and then at the end, everything fell apart, especially because things are feeling like they're turning around. When things are going good in your life, he mentions this too, and it's so true. It so resonates with me. When things are going good in your life, that's the time to pour even more into God. That is the time to even more give thanks, even more seek his face, even more seek his voice, so that you know you're not making your decisions off of flesh. You're making it off of an understanding between you and the Creator. I saw this verse and I felt like it was relevant for this particular video. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. If you are believing this in your life to be true, if you are believing this, you've got to surrender and you've got to allow the good to fester in your life in the most beautiful way. You've got to allow new things to happen to you. Talking to myself, I've got to allow new things to happen to me and to feel good about it and to be hands off because his timing is perfect. Mine, anytime I've gotten involved, child, it has never worked. It has never worked. So, do not get to the ninth inning, whatever that means. I just heard it and I'm repeating it. Do not get to, I think it's like a baseball term. Do not get to the end and mess it up for yourself. Get to the end and finish strong. Get to the end and see it through. I always say to myself, I want what God has for me. And what God has for me, the only way I can get it is if I stay out of his way. And then the last thing that I have to remember as I'm trying to work through this self-sabotage and how to handle this is that I am doing the work and I have done so much work already. When I remember that I've been healed, when I remember that I have been delivered, and when I remember that I am actively doing the work, there is no reason to fear the things that are coming up in your life. So this is a quick little video. I wanted to put this out there because it's something I'm currently going through. And self-sabotage is so easy, child. It's so easy to get yourself into because of what you're anticipating because of the past. But when you anticipate what God has for you, God only has the best for you. He only wants the best. And when you remember that, you are his child, you can remember that everything is going to work in your favor. Regardless of the outcome, it's going to work in your favor. So that's all, y'all. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. Something that I felt like I needed to hear and remember, and that I've been getting signs to speak on and talk about. And I feel like it's going to help and hopefully help somebody with their dating situation, with their career situation, with any situation that you have in your life where you get in your own way when it comes to your creativity, the way that I am creative. There are so many areas in which I can apply recognizing when I'm self-sabotaging. I hope this was helpful. I love you guys. Until next time, see you later.